This book, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Hey everyone, I'm Ariana Elizabeth, and today I'm going to do a book review for Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. There's probably going to be spoilers. This book kept me up for hours at night afterwards thinking about it. Let me break it down for you. Mare Barrow is a 17-year-old thief pickpocket girl who is going to be conscripted for war because by the time she's 18, which is going to be in a couple months, she still doesn't have a job or is any real use to society. And so off to war you go, Mare. Now, Mare is being conscripted to war because she is a red. Her blood is the same color as her name, and she is just a regular old run-of-the-day person. And you have the silvers. These are the elite people. Their blood is silver in color, and they have abilities too. So a lot of them are elemental abilities, water, fire, and all that type of thing. Others have super strength, have telekinesis, and it's all very X-Men-y. Basically, the silvers are up here and the reds are down here. Now, this oppression has been going on for hundreds of years, but things are starting to change in their world. When her only friend Kalorn has been conscripted for war, she takes it upon herself that she absolutely has to save his life. So off she goes looking for a way to do that. And then there's a few more failures, and then it sort of takes her to this tavern where she meets a guy, of course, and they walk. She tells him about her life, even though she doesn't know why she's telling the stranger, and then he gives her some money and off she goes. The next day, she is summoned to the Silver City where all the elite are, and she thinks this is pretty much the end. But no, when she gets there, she finds out that she has actually been hired for work. She is on her first day of the job, and it's Queen's Trial that's going on, and this is basically a test of abilities and talents from all the different young girls from the high houses, so the different elite families, and they are trying to win favor with the prince, and he'll pick one of them to get married to. As it turns out, by another coincidence, the older son, the prince who is here now to pick his queen, is actually Cal, the guy she met at the tavern the night before. Freak accident ends up falling out of a box at the top where one of the families are, onto this electric force field down below, and she's like, goodbye life, as she's falling. Bzzzt. Okay, except she doesn't die. Instead of dying when she hits this force field, she feels absolutely fantastic, except now all the other silvers have seen this red girl demonstrate some kind of power, and the king and queen cannot have that, because that's going to tip the balance. And why do red people have powers? She's like the only one, and so this is a really, really big deal. The king and queen sort of sweep her in, and they're like, you know what? You can't go out anymore. Guess what? You can have our youngest son, Maven, and you're going to be the next princess. Basically, she's got to give up her whole life to become this silver person. All very devious. Nobody really likes anyone there. It's just one big game of power, and she's been thrust into the middle of it. And in exchange for her cooperation, she has gotten the queen and the king to release her brothers and her friend Kalorn from war. She is now betrothed to Maven, who is Cal's younger brother, so you see where this is going. Has to learn to be the one thing that she despises the most, a silver. But her royal duties aren't the only thing that this girl has on her plate. Oh no! The news of her brother's death in the war have totally warped her view on this whole red-silver thing, and she joins the Scarlet Guard, which is a group of red rebels who are looking to overthrow the king, and she becomes their inside lady, along with Maven, the younger prince. It's this whole big escapade of secrets and lies and betrayal. All in all, torn between two princes and a warring nation, Mare must learn who she can place her trust in, and how to keep herself and her loved ones alive as a vicious game of power is being played all around her. Let me talk about the world now. I really liked this world. I enjoyed the concept of the reds and the silvers, and I also think that there's a lot of potential to expand this world. This book could have been a little bit bigger than it was. She does mention several other places by name all over the map, and now this really isn't developed any farther than that. I have all these different ideas of things that other places could be like, but nothing is really gone into depth. It's mentioned in a name in passing, and that's about it. So I was a little bit disappointed in that, because maybe in a sequel it will be explained a little bit farther, but I think it can definitely be more developed. On top of being a dystopian novel, it also has a lot of post-apocalyptic feel, in my opinion. They're in the year 320 NE, and now you've got these different people that have emerged with abilities. You see where I'm going with this? And don't get me wrong, because I really did love this world. However, there are so many other books out there like it. This one really is just sort of a Frankenstein mix and match of The Hunger Games and X-Men, and I haven't read the selection, but I've seen that everywhere come up, that it is just like that. And also Red Rising. If you look at the synopsis for that, it is more or less the same thing, but with a boy, and it's red and gold. But there are so many dystopian novels out there now, because it's become very popular, and we have nothing better to write about than oppression, that I feel like eventually we're going to just start stepping on everyone else's toes anyway, because there's almost no more ideas left out there. It's all been done. Dystopian is really getting overdone for me. I think we're finished. We need a new theme for books now besides dystopian. Like I said though, despite that, I really did enjoy reading this book. And we have the romance. There really isn't any at all. Everyone goes on about this big love triangle thing we have going on between Mare and the two princes. Hello, we've got Kaloran over here too. He really has kind of a Gabe feel to him. He is the boy she's been friends with since they were little, and they grew up poor together. Now she goes off into this new expensive world and leaves him behind, and he's a rebel and he's going to fight back. I swear I have read something just like that not that long ago. But like I said, all in all, there really isn't that much romance developed in this book. Mare didn't know what was going on. I think she was just really inexperienced. Kinda likes Cal. I mean, the same way I would like a guy that I saw at the grocery store that looked pretty good, but there's no development there. I want more than I was given. It was just shallow. Kissed me, so I must be in love with him now. And I'm sure he loves me too, and will throw away his whole life and his family and his morals and his values for me if I ask him to, but I'm really just going to use him for my own personal gain. That's how it works. There, you don't at all in this book even think to yourself that you have feelings for any of these boys. You use the boys to get what you want. You expect them to throw away their lives for you. And the one boy that does seem to care about you, which isn't either prince, you constantly pass off as just being helpless and can't do anything, and you don't want his help, and you just have to get him out the way and get him to safety. Then there's the line that Maven says, talking about Cal to Mare, he will always choose you. Because this is the first instance where you see that the brothers know what's going on with a different brother. And the he will always choose you thing, that's sounding an awful lot like a Stefan and Damon sort of situation. You know what I'm saying? And despite the lack of romance, the other relationships in this book weren't really all that well thought out, in my opinion. Evangeline, who is supposed to be marrying Cal, she is just a raving bitch to Mare. And for no reason, really. I mean, I can understand if you thought he was going to marry the prince and going to be queen, and you had trained and you spent your whole life trying to be queen, and you knew it was in the bag for you, this other girl comes along. Yeah, I would be pretty pissed too. But as soon as you get to marry the prince and you know you're going to be queen, why do you need to continue to be mad and be nasty to this girl who's clearly scared, clearly doesn't know what she's doing, and going to be with you for a long time because, hello, she's going to be your sister-in-law? You'd think you would at least try to get along, but no, it's just snide comments and this very cliquish feeling. It was like being back in high school. There was no character development. The way the characters are at the beginning is the same way they end, more or less, apart from the odd few who are now broken and less well off than where they were at the beginning. So nobody really gets better. Then there's a lot about family dynamics in this book, and sort of royal family in particular, which is really the only relationships I thought were really well brought across. And she actually did it in a way that I was really impressed with, because she showed us, instead of having to tell us the way the characters acted. Now, this is all from Mare's point of view. There are other books that I have read where it's really, really psychological and you can see the relationships really well, but it's also done from other people's points of view, flipping back and forth. And in that way, you get a sense of everything. In this book, it's only from Mare's point of view, and now Mare has absolutely no idea what's going on with any relationship with anybody. She is just so stubborn, so stuck on her own ways. Her beliefs are the right beliefs, and I'm the worst off because I have red blood, and you guys are all silver, so you're fine. You don't have any problems. That is not the case, Mare. And even though it is told from her point of view, Victoria Aveyard really was able to show us the issues in the family, despite seeing it from a really close-minded girl. And that came across really well, and I really enjoyed reading that part about the book. You've got King versus Queen, who really don't like each other. They don't sleep together, they argue, it's just about power for them. There's no love there whatsoever. She is the second wife, and so he was actually really in love with his first, and I think that has a lot to do with it. And there's vague references to the fact that she was killed. But then again, that's not really developed either. What happened to the first wife, really? And her backstory, it's just not there. And nobody wants to talk about it. And it's just, I wish maybe she could have found a diary and read the Queen's diary so she has a little bit more backstory. Like, there's other things you could have done. Then you've got the Queen and Cal. Cal is not her son. He is gonna be king, but she wants her son to be king because that's her baby and it's motherly love. And this other guy doesn't even want to be king. He wants to be a soldier, and he's weak, and so there's a lot of hostility there. You've got the king and Maven. He isn't going to be king. He can be overlooked, unimpressed. He's just a shadow. This is my boy. This is my oldest, you know? It's a lot like that. And so the other boy's feeling useless, unneeded, unwanted, unnecessary, a lot of other words. And then you've got these two brothers who want to love each other because they are brothers and they've grown up together. And Cal doesn't really necessarily want to be king. He's a soldier. The other brother's better at being a king, but he's never going to be allowed to. And there's so many unsaid words that pass between the two of them. Both want what the other has. It is a constant competition for them, and it's a really, really strained love. And then you've got Mare thrown into the mix, who's like, oh, I can totally relate because my sister's really good at everything and I'm not, and so I know what you're going through. However, I'm a red, and so you guys already have it good, and so your problems don't really matter. That is exactly what happened. Mare, get out of here. You don't even know what's going on. The best part of this book was this royal family dynamic. And we've got sort of the story going on in general. Everybody I see is saying that it is just so unoriginal. I feel like after reading some other reviews, my opinion changed a little bit. I was like, oh, okay, I see that now. I'm seeing all this negativity because I really went into this book wanting to absolutely love it, and I kind of made myself love it, I think. I did really enjoy it, but then again, I do see a lot of points that these people are making who give it negative reviews. However, I think that she has taken lots of different elements from other stories and sort of made her own. I didn't always agree with the things that the characters did. In fact, I rarely agreed with the things the characters did. I have a shitty life. You're gonna let me be a princess? Okay, you can have whatever you want. This is better food than I've eaten my whole life. Boy's kind of cute too. I think we could make this work. I enjoyed the story quite immensely, right until the end. Oh my god, the plot twists. And I'm not talking like you're driving down the highway and suddenly you missed your exit and you've got to turn right really quick and there's that one big moment. No. Aveyard here is driving a little rickety car and we are in the middle of frickin' Italy and I don't know what is happening and we are up and down and left and right and steering and we almost hit some people and it's just this constant, oh my god, and there was just like one plot twist after another at the end of this book. It wasn't at all what I expected. It went in a completely different direction more than once. I was like, oh my god, and then I was like, okay, so this is gonna happen. Oh my god, okay. Alright, so, oh my god! I spent the whole last book being like, this is it, this is the end, this is gonna have a really bad ending, you're not gonna make it out of this, nothing is gonna go as planned. This whole book led up to something that didn't exist. I don't even know what I read. I spent hours afterwards being like, what just happened here? Everyone's saying it was really predictable. It wasn't for me. I was hoping for something else and then was like, whoa, what did you just do? If it is a movie, I cannot wait to see the reaction of people who have not read the book and then go to see this movie. The rug was just absolutely pulled from underneath me. I landed flat on my back, gaping at the ceiling like a fish. Now that we're talking about the ending, I do have to say that there was a lot of loose ends, and I guess in a way there's going to be because she's really left it open for a sequel. And I'm not sure how I feel about that because I was really looking forward to a standalone book, and I think that if it had been maybe a little bit bigger and the ending not been so all over the place, it would have made a very nice standalone. And now I've got to wait to see where all of this is going. And it doesn't end very happy. Like one bad decision after another, and you're like, you were almost there, you're falling now, what is happening? I just really did not expect the end of this book to end the way it did. So our author, Victoria Aveyard. This is her debut novel, and so I don't want to give her any hate because actually being able to produce a book takes so much willpower, so much effort, and so much help from a lot of other people as well, and I am just really proud. Kudos to you for being able to do that because Lord knows I've got 30,000 stories started on my laptop, and I've gotten about chapter 1 in all of them. I think that for a debut novel it was pretty good despite the negative reviews it's going to get. I don't want to give it 1. I won't. There's a lot of stuff I really didn't like, but I would still suggest going out to read it, to let me know what you think of it. I think that her style was really good. Her pacing, other people have said it was slow, but personally, I think that it was very well paced. I was very excited to read through all of it, right until all that plot twisty bit. It was like going through the freaking devil's snare. The only issues I have with her writing is the fact that there was not enough development in a majority of places. The world could have been better developed, the romance, the background stories, and the war that they're waging. Why are we having a war? And then we have our characters. We've got Mare, rude, stubborn, thief, sassy as hell. She really is so close-minded about a lot of things. I didn't find myself relating to her all that well. She hadn't been so rebellious and downright sneaky, and maybe things could have turned out a lot better for her. The silver people have problems too, and she just didn't want to see it. And then we have Cal. Throughout the whole book, he is diligently the soldier. He's got strong values and morals and what he thinks. No girl, no sneaky brother is really going to become a problem. It's not going to get in the way. He thinks this is what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He's going to be king. He's going to fight. He is got an army that he is going to lead, and he knows what he's doing, and he is sticking to it. He does not waver from his princely duties, even though he may not agree with them. He sticks to it, and he doesn't complain. And a lot of people said he was just really a weak character, and I disagree, because I think that out of any of the characters, he had the strongest values. And then we have Maven, who I really don't feel like I can talk that much about without really spoiling the ending for you, but I do not like this guy. I think he really isn't very well developed past his family dynamic, I guess, and even that's not really given much of a background. He is a shadowy, shady character. He even says it himself, and you think, oh, he's just sad, but no, he's not that nice of a guy. He's going to betray his family for the Red Rebels, and then he's just going to betray a bunch of other people because he's got his own motives altogether. But now it is time for my Ari rating. For my Ari rating, A is for author and style, and I give this a 4.5. I really liked her style of writing. I found it fast-paced. It kept me interested. R for reading, I'm gonna give this one a 3 because I really feel like this story is now overdone. In reading it, I'm seeing all these other stories that are already out there play through my head. And then the other thing too is that it isn't concluded, which is really not a negative point because it's meant not to be concluded for a sequel, but I was hoping this would just be more of a standalone, in which case I didn't enjoy the fact that I didn't get all my loose ends wrapped up. And for I, for influence, I give this one a 4 because it has a lot of interesting concepts in it. There is a lot to be said for the psychology of the characters in this book and why people do the things that they do and how it affects other people, the levels of betrayal and mistrust and putting your faith in the wrong person. A lot of that goes on in this book, and I think that's something really interesting to discuss. It really goes into how our circumstances in life, the way we're born, where we're born, how we're raised, really affect our outlook on life and our view of others as well. Overall, I give this book an 11.5 out of 15. So in conclusion, if you like dystopians, read this book. It does draw from a lot of other books, but that is okay in my opinion. It is just sort of a mix of all these others, and that doesn't necessarily make it a bad story. Like I said, I really, really enjoyed it right until the plot twist at the end, which just didn't do it for me, but maybe you are really going to enjoy it, so I would highly recommend at least giving this book a try. And after researching it, it does have a lot more positive reviews than negative ones, so that should tell you something there as well. I read it in one day, it was nice and quick, I give it a big thumbs up, and I look forward to hearing what all of you think of this book as well, down below. And my end question for all of you is, if you were a silver and had a power, what would it be? I want to hear about it. I took a test online and got strong arm, which is the stupidest because my arms are like, I can't even pick up like a heavy bag. So I would have really liked to be a greenie and grow things and nature. I thought that would have been a lot of fun. Tell me what you think yours would be. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Have a great one, guys. Bye!